Alright, sorry, maybe I probably should have stopped clearing my throat first, but welcome back to the podcast. So I came to some weird epiphany. So I was talking to a friend of mine, dear close friend, shout out to you, you know who you are. This person I have known for, I don't know, probably 20 years, I don't know. I met them somewhere between 2003 and 2005-ish, I think. Because I think I was still at community college when I first met them. Or maybe I even knew them before that, but that's when I first realized, I don't know, they tried to add me on MySpace or something, and then I didn't add them or deleted them or whatever. I think I told one of my friends I didn't really want to add them, and I was kind of just like, I didn't want to, but then they kind of confronted me about it, and they're like, yeah, you said you didn't want to add me, I heard you like say it to your friends. I'm like, shit. And so I kind of added them. And I don't know, like, I'm trying to think why I didn't want to add them. I think because at the time they were like a lot older than me, and it was weird for me. Because I didn't really, it was kind of at a time in my life where I wasn't meeting a whole lot of brand new people. Like I was, because I was in community college, but it was kind of more like people almost exactly my age, that weren't in the church. I was open to meeting them, but that was kind of a time when I was starting to meet people that weren't in the church, that didn't have any connections to anybody else I knew. And so to me there wasn't a lot of appeal to meeting somebody, that I assumed they were kind of hating on me, or like that they were like one of the guys that, like, because there were a lot of guys like that at, single guys at church that would just be like, oh, you're a single woman, and they want to like get your contact info. And I wasn't like even trying to date. I don't remember. Like, I don't remember that, like, community college. I don't know what I was doing. Like, I basically realized later on that I had a lot of interesting crushes and things on females and stuff that I don't think I even knew what was really going on. But now when I look back, I'm like, that's what was happening with this person. But yeah, like, I was gonna talk about, okay, so kind of about relationships, kind of about my slow brain. But it takes a lot, like, I've been trying to figure out, like, different people's patterns, right? Different people's patterns. And I was taking myself, for example. I was like, okay, I know, with texting, I know that I get a little out of hand. And I try not to. But I've tried to give the disclaimer to most people that I do text. That I'm like, you do not have to read any of this shit. Like, don't feel obligated. You can just delete it. I will not be offended. Just don't respond if you don't want to. Because usually I'm just yammering on, and usually it's like under the influence of caffeine or weed or something like that. So I'm not really like aware of like how much I'm like just like typing. Like, to me it's like it only takes like a minute or something, so I'm just like rapid typing and then like send it, and I'm like, damn, I didn't know it was that long. So I try not to, but I mean, like, it's so easy to just do. And cuz I write as well, like, I don't know if I'm a skilled writer, but I'm familiar with writing, and I write often, like very, very, very often. And so because I write so much and read so much, and to me it just comes fast to me, like it just comes easy, and I just do it. So I'm not like, trying not to do it. I'm not trying to like like I do it in other areas of my life, so I think it carries into like my texting and stuff. I just start texting, and especially because I spent a lot of years trying not to use like laptops and desktops, and I tried to get the majority of my work done on a cell phone because it kind of kept me focused on the one task, because there's not many things you can do. You can't open like, well, you can, but you can't open like a whole bunch of different window tabs and be like, oh, I'm going to check YouTube, and oh, go on Facebook, and oh, go on Instagram. And it's like, no, like just focus and do the blog or do this article or like write this thing, do what you're writing, and don't start writing and checking other stuff. Like for me, it's easier on a phone to stay focused. So, but then I notice when I'm kind of multitasking and I'm like typing and typing like a blog article or something, and then I switch over and then start like typing, to a friend. It's like, so I'm already in a mood of like writing. And so I noticed that, I write a lot. To me, what I have to say is usually interesting, but I know that a lot of times people are at work, I'm not trying to wake people up. I think I'm okay with not texting people like too late after hours, and especially because I'm not usually awake late, and when I am, I don't really want to talk to people. I'm kind of just like doing my own thing. If it's like 2 a.m. or whatever, I'm not trying to like talk. But yeah, it's kind of like um um it's okay, so I've noticed that, it's hard, like with the texting, it can be a little challenging to be like texting or whatever. Like, and I've had someone in my life that texts me a lot about complaints, like everything that they have to complain about. Not about me, but just about their life. And I'm just kind of like, whenever I see the text, I scan it real quick and I'm like, it's more negative stuff. So I just kind of leave it alone. And sometimes I'll go back and respond like days later, and other days I'm just like, whatever. And if I find something to send them that's kind of like on the wavelength that I want to be on with them, then I'll just like send them something, and it has like nothing to do with what they even said. But sometimes, like, I don't send it like back to back, like they sent me a message and I'm like, here's some random Instagram meme, like I kind of wait and, like send it later. But it's kind of like I try not to feed into, like, because I don't know what they want from me. Like, I can't, they're choosing where they're living, where they're doing stuff, where they're spending their time and their days. So I don't know what they want from me. Like, I can't make these decisions and changes for them, and they're capable of doing it themselves, and I can feel it in them that maybe they want to do that, but I don't have any energy to give too much. Like, it's not that I don't feel compassion for this person, it's just that to be honest, there are other people that I want to prioritize. It's not that this person isn't a friend. It's just that I just have other friends that I'm trying to continue cultivating relationships with and being with and spending energy and time with, and this person is not one of them. Mainly the reason why I say that is because this is someone I don't really see often in person. I want to see them in person, but because we don't hardly ever meet in person, like I've seen them in person maybe once in the last 2 years, and so it's kind of hard for me to be like really too. It's not that I'm not like holding a grudge against them. It's just like I like seeing people in person, so it's hard for me to be like prioritizing someone that I never see or that we don't even have plans. I'm kind of like hesitant to kind of want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'll put it that way. So I'm not doing it because I don't want to. But I do want to still be friends, and I do still want to develop the relationship with this person. But I would say we don't have too deep of a connection. Like we do. Like we have a history, a past, We've lived together, so we probably know each other on an intimate level way more than other people do. Like, we shared a very thin wall, and so I'm pretty sure this person has heard my conversations and all kinds of things they've probably heard through my walls, and vice versa. And so, you know, like, we kind of know a lot about each other, but at the same time, I'm like, I just don't, I don't know. I want to be there for them, but I'm doing it kind of when I have the energy to do it. Like, I can't be there for every single thing that they have going on right now, that they've had going on for so long. I kind of just am trying to encourage them and be like, look, like, I did some other fucking weird thing and, like, left from those situations. Like, why don't you do it too, kind of thing. But I think they'll get there. I'm trying to, like, point them in directions where they can kind of, like, get towards their own happiness, but at the same time, I don't have the energy. So it's just one person. But I notice, the reason why I'm mentioning it though is because I notice that there's this situation with this person and myself, and I'm like, damn, I hope I haven't been like that. Like, I know I get like that. I know for sure I get like that, but I hope that that's not like the reputation that I have, you know, because I'm like, damn, like, this is not something I really want to, you know, experience too much of with this person. But I do care for them, and I do care for their well-being, and I do plan to meet them and want to see them and everything. I just, you know, I'm not going to do it till I move back to San Diego either. Like, I kind of have a little hard time connecting with them sometimes, even though I feel like we've shared a lot, though. We've shared a lot, and we're definitely on the same wavelength about, like, a lot of different things. And so I'm like, this person is valuable to me, but it's just kind of like, I can't really hold space for them in that way. Like, I'd rather see them in person and talk about this stuff in person, or even on the phone. I don't really want to text about it, because I have nothing to say, you know. There's nothing that I want to say to them. Like, we don't have the kind of relationship where we can really, like, they're not, like, asking for my opinions. We don't really have the type of relationship where I can just be like, you know, like, if they need advice or something, like, we don't really talk like that. Like, it's kind of more like, it's different. So I kind of just leave that where it is. But I hope to God that I'm sure I've done that to people before. I'm positive I have, but I hope I've gotten better, and I would try to get better at it. And I do catch myself. I do it every now and then. I do it, but I try not to do it unwelcomed. But usually it's, like, induced by some kind of substance. In all honesty, like, if I'm, like, completely sober or tired or not, like, in a writing mode or something, I'm probably not going to be saying all that much. But it's like, sometimes, you know, I'd rather just be like, there are some friends that I literally sit on Instagram for hours and we will just back and forth, you know, or, like, we'll just be talking on, like, video chats and stuff, like, on our phones, and, like, you know, or texting, like, a conversation or whatever. Like, I used to use Voxer a lot with some of my LA friends. Voxer app, I don't even know if it still exists, but I used to use Voxer a lot, and we used to kind of talk. It's like walkie-talkie, but it, like, saves your messages, and so you could, like, walkie-talkie, like, back to each other, back and forth, and then, like, if you're in a group with people that are doing that walkie-talkie back and forth thing, like, you could go back and listen to the whole conversation of your group's messages back and forth. Like, I used to do that sometimes. I would be like, if I didn't go somewhere where they would go, they'd use it to communicate, like, oh, I just got here, oh, I just parked, like, you know, oh, I'm like, you know, I'm sitting over here, like, I'm in the seat, like, you know, in the booth in the back corner, like, 2 seats from the bathroom, kind of thing. And they'd be like, oh, like, I'm in line outside, like, there's just a line now and I'm getting carded or whatever, like, you know, like, there'd be, like, this whole, like, back and forth, like, and I'd go through the whole message when I wasn't there, and I'd be like, kind of like FOMO, and just, like, listening to their messages, and, like, it was kind of cute. I was like, I kind of like that app. It was really fun. I really liked that app with those friends. that was probably one of the most fun apps for like a social media thing. And like it was funny though because like we had our own, it was kind of like a private group, but then it's like every now and then somebody would add somebody that you didn't know. Like we had friends that were like pastors and stuff, and so like sometimes they'd add like a pastor friend or something. I'd be like, oh shit, like I don't really want to like say certain stuff if they're in this chat, but like they weren't like that. They were actually friendly with us. Like they were never like judging us and stuff. Like the pastors that I have had as friends that were like nearly my same age, like they were always cool. Like they would do their own thing. They wouldn't like tell us to go places where the church wouldn't allow, but like if we were like if I was somewhere and I grabbed a drink, they probably wouldn't say anything. Like I didn't do that, but like they probably would just not say anything. And that's like a big like no in that kind of religion. But they would have just let it go, let me do what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, I was kind of like thinking, and like the more I've been like feeling a little bit better, like since the cold is kind of clearing a little bit every day, and since I'm not feeling as like disgruntled on a regular basis, I'm kind of like, I kind of came into this different energy like during this week where I was like, okay, I want change faster, and then today I was just like, I found these jobs that I wanted to apply to, and it has nothing to do with what I had planned to do, but I'm like, the pay rate's good and I think I qualify anyways. So I sat on it this morning and I was like, I'll just wait till tonight because I don't really do work related stuff on Saturdays, and so I just waited anyways. And so I'm gonna do it tonight in a little bit. I'm gonna have a late dinner and then do it. And yeah, I feel pretty good about it, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna apply for these jobs because I was just in my head, I'm like, dude, this is fucking up my relationships to like be over here, like there's a lot of shit that I'm like missing. It's not really for a FOMO reason, but it's like I didn't want to stay here this long anyways, and it's already, I don't want to be here for the full year. Like once it gets to be like late May, early June, it's like that's already going to be a year, and I'm like, shit, I don't want that. Or at least, even if I'm not fully moved yet, I want to be at least like able to be like starting to look for apartments and stuff. I don't want to be waiting too long. And I kind of was noticing, so this, I'm not trying to have like some ego trip here. So I'm terrible with wording of certain things. And so if it sounds like I'm having some kind of weird ego trip, please, that's not what's happening. I'm basically trying to explain what I've noticed. And so I noticed for myself that, a lot of things, social media can kind of tell you a lot about your attachment styles, I think. And so certain things like the way people text each other or the way they don't text each other, or the way people ghost each other, or the way people, hit each other only on like casual social media, or the way people want to talk on the phone, or the way people want to do like video chats and stuff. I feel like certain social media kind of lets you know a little bit about how you attach to certain people. I don't want to say maybe attachment styles in general, but how you attach to certain people. Because I started noticing, on occasion, I kind of freak out a little bit. Like, I get in my head and I get kind of like, oh no, this person isn't like messaging me back. Like, what does that mean? Are they going to ghost me now, or are they just busy? 9.99999 times out of 10, usually they're just busy. I do meet the occasional person that is just like, they'll just ghost me, but that's not, I haven't hardly met that many new people anyway, so that has not really happened in a pretty long time. But yeah, but I started noticing these weird trends with some friends in certain places, and it's kind of like, I was kind of like, damn, like not happy with it. Like nothing happened. I just don't know if I can say what it is. Like it's not a big deal. It's not I'm not like mad. I just kind of came to an epiphany that, cuz I was like, okay, I freak out a little bit over certain stuff cuz I'm like, well, what does this mean when this pattern changes? Like what does this mean? And sometimes I know what's going on, like, oh, somebody broke up or somebody's like out of town or somebody, it's like, and we don't need to talk every day. Like I have certain friends that I do talk to every day. There's like a handful of them, probably like, I got about like maybe 4 friends or so tops that I talk to almost every day. And then everybody else is like, I hardly talk to them every day, probably not even weekly in all honesty. Unless it's like, I'd say 5 friends, because one is like a small group chat that's on Instagram, and we talk all the time on Instagram, catch up on life and everything. But I started realizing, I'm like, today it just hit me. I was like, shit, maybe some of the patterns I'm seeing are because I live all the way the fuck over here, And it's like, people are kind of like, I'm not talking about the texting stuff, but like that people aren't texting me back. Like, I'm not talking about that at all. I'm just saying, like, maybe they kind of have their own issues or insecurities of some form with me being all the way over here, And I kind of started realizing that. And I started looking at, my relationships with certain people and how I'm like, I feel like I'm totally out of sight, out of mind for some of my friends, It's like, it's kind of like, it's been bothering me, but I'm like, why? Like, there's no reason, because it's not like I never see them. Like, I go down to San Diego, I go visit my friends and stuff, but I was just like, why the fuck? Like, why, but I was like, okay, well, maybe for some people, once you leave town and move 100 freaking miles away, they're not going to be hitting you up all the time and like telling you what's going on because you're all the way over there, But I'm kind of like, if you tell me what's going on, I will come there. But I feel like on their end, maybe it's like a risk to take, to be like, maybe I'm going to reject it. Maybe I'm going to reject the invitation from them because I'm far, and so they don't invite me to stuff that's like little stuff that to them is like little stuff, like the casual, like, oh, we went to this place, or oh, we went to that place, and I'm just like I'm not like desperate or anything, but I'm also just kind of like, I like seeing them and I love being around them, and so I'm like, sometimes I'm like, man, I would have liked to know that was happening because I would have just shot down there this weekend or like whatever, but I feel like that's kind of on me because I moved, like there was I don't know what kind of situation I was having a situationship-ish thing happening, before I moved, and then I started realizing around when I moved, I was like, this is getting weird. Like, it got weird. And ever since then, it's been weird. And it's gotten a little weirder and a little weirder and a little weirder up until this last month of March, where I'm like, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. Like, I already didn't know what we were doing, and now I really don't know what we're doing. I'm like, I'm so confused. Like, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm at a point where I'm like, now I got to try to bring this up. I got to try and, like, be like, okay, like, what is happening? And I don't even know if they know what's going on, but I notice it because I'm like, okay, like we, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if you've ever met somebody that you have a really great connection with, and you're like, this is a person that I have a great connection with. We communicate really well. We get along really great. I really trust this person. We've become really close friends over the last few years. And then all of a sudden, it's like, they don't seem like they really want to hang out or talk or anything. And I'm like, I know I didn't do anything. And I know they're not mad at me. But it's kind of like, I don't know. Like, I think it's me being all the way over here. Because I think about it. And I was thinking about it. And I was like, I have people in my life that are like maybe family members or whatever that kind of tell me things like, like, oh, like I never hear from you, or you never call me, or you never like, you know, try to get in contact with me. And I'm just kind of like, well, in my head, I'm like, well, fuck you, you're over there, you know, like you're nowhere near me. We never see each other, you know, and you know, it's not like we never see each other, but it's kind of like I feel like I'm like an afterthought to them. Like when they're having a bad day or a bad week or they're lonely, then they're like, oh, like where are you? And it's kind of like, dude, I've been here, you know, I've been over here this whole time, you know, but I'm like, I don't want to do that to people. And I kind of think, you know, even though I was moving and I told everybody what was going, well, I didn't tell everybody exactly what was going on, but I told everybody for the most part. I'm, you know, helping my folks with some stuff. I'm moving up to LA for a bit. I'll be back, you know, and if there's stuff going on, I'm going to try to come back at least once a month, but I'm going to try to come back, you know, like to kind of, you know, connect on stuff and like be there for at least important stuff, birthdays, you know, like important kind of stuff. But I didn't really know what to do. Like at some point I didn't really know what to do. And, yeah, like I was just thinking about it today, you know, because I was like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I can't like confront people. I can't just be like, oh, like why aren't you calling or whatever. Like I don't want to make people feel like weird about it because it's already weird as it is, and then to make it weirder by just like bringing it up because I'm like something's up, but I'm like that's what it is. The problem is that I freaking moved, you know. And, you know, people don't do that very well. They don't do like, oh, you live in another city now and you don't live here, you know. I'm not saying that they're like not trying to like communicate with me at all. Like I hear from them, but it's like, it's kind of like not the same as it was. I'm not like down the street anymore or like the next city over, you know. We're like really far apart in distance and they don't really come up where I am too much and I don't really go down where they are that much, and there is a lot of coordinating that goes in place and like everything. So I don't know, but Jesus Christ, sorry, my mom just like opened the door again to check and see if I'm outside in the car. Like I don't know why they keep looking. It's like, why are you looking? Like, you know, I'm out here. It's like, I know that my parents think I'm weird, but I don't really care, man. Like, I need my space. I need to be out in the damn car. Like, leave me alone. Um, but yeah, I didn't really understand. I didn't really understand, you know, what was really happening. And then that kind of drove me to be like, well, fuck this. I need to just get a job and move back. Because that was the plan anyways. And I'm like, I don't want to get comfortable here. I'm already not comfortable. So I don't think I'm going to get comfortable, in all honesty. The only thing that's comfortable is the money part. Like, I'm not spending that much money. And so that is really comfortable for me. But other than that, you know, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. It's not a bad environment. I've explained it before. It's generational, cultural, a little bit of generational, a little bit of cultural differences, and some stuff I've kind of moved on from for my own health reasons that I have other people that I live with that have not moved on from those ways, and so I don't really want to live with it. But also it's not like the worst case scenario. Like, I can live with it, and it's not that bad. It's been worse. It's not that bad right now, honestly. But yeah. So that's kind of how I feel. Like, right now, I'm kind of trying to wade my way through this kind of situation that's going on. I don't know. Like, part of me was like gonna call something quits. I was kind of like, you know, there's a person in my life that I was like gonna call it quits with them, but then I was like, it's not worth calling it quits because I don't really want to call it quits, and I wasn't done. I wasn't done yet. Like, like we were having fun. Like, I don't want to like end things. So I think my best choice would just be to get a job whatever job is going to pay what I need it to pay at this point just to get me where I need to be. That's what I'm going to take. It's going to have to be something good though. It can't just be like a shitty job with like shitty bosses and stuff, but I've got some ideas of where I'm going. And I'm I mean, Southern California is expensive, guys. So people who aren't from out here, if you're listening to this, it's like, think about how much money you have to be making to rent a $2,000 a month apartment before utilities. Like, that's about the amount of money I'm shooting to have to make. Like, it's not like it's like, oh, just get a job. It's like, no, it's got to be a job that pays significantly well enough that I can actually, like, live and apply and, like, do what I need to do. I don't have other expenses, though. I do need another car, but I don't need another car. Like, this one is good enough. It'll get me where I need to go. Once I can move, if I don't have a car yet, once I can move, I can get a car. I was gonna get the car first, but I realized, I don't know. So for me, I'm kind of tricky on the finances. I want to pay for a car outright. So what I might end up doing is getting something that's slightly better than what I already have, a little bit newer, and that's still just going to be like a placeholder. I know the car I want to get, but I don't want to make payments on it. I want to just pay it outright. So I'd rather just get the job, move, get a burner car, or keep this car. In all honesty, keep my 20-something-year-old car that's turning 21 in June. Keep this car. And, because it runs, it drives, it could get me back and forth to San Diego. I mean, the last time I did that was New Year's Eve, so I don't know for sure. But it's been fixed since then, but also, like, who cares? Like, I don't really drive it that much. I've been renting cars, and the last time I went to that rave last weekend or whatever, I freaking Ubered all the way there and back. I didn't even drive downtown, so I haven't really driven it further than... I went to Cerritos on Sunday, like in Orange County, like near Cerritos Mall. I was over there, and that's, I don't know how far, 40 miles or so. So yeah, I went there. Maybe it's 30 miles. I don't know. So yeah, but that's the epiphany I came to, and I think I'm right on it. I think I'm accurate. I don't think I'm wrong. I can't say for sure, but I don't think I'm wrong. 'Cause, other people have their own ways of doing things too. And I've never really lived far away from people. Actually, no, that's wrong. 'Cause when I first moved to San Diego, I was surprised that all the people, like I said, I had that group of friends on Voxer, and these people I'd been hanging out with for like most of that economic collapse time period. We hung out a lot. Like, we saw each other almost every day for like a year, because a lot of people didn't have jobs, and like the church was just letting us hang out there. So we would just hang out at the church, volunteer. Like, we were like cleaning pews, like reupholstering stuff, ordering pizzas. We would screen movies. Like, we would get pirated movies and like screen them on the wall, like on one of the walls in the dining hall. We had like access to projector, Wi-Fi, like bathrooms. That's all we really needed. And then we would just hang out there. We used it as like a hangout spot because it was free to hang there. And then like sometimes they'd have food for us, and sometimes we just get our own food because we'd be there all day. So it's like eventually you're gonna eat another meal. And then sometimes we'd go out to eat. Sometimes people would work. Sometimes people didn't have work. And so we just spent our time being busy. A little bit busy, but usually it was like nothing big. It was like, oh, somebody needs to sweep the parking lot because it's this day of the week, or like we need to take the trash out because it's this day of the week, or whatever. And then we would help doing that, and then we just hang out the rest of the time. Like we didn't really have like jobs or real volunteer jobs. We volunteered, but we weren't really like official doing anything. It's a building, it's a business, it needs to be, maintained. And so we were part of the maintenance, but there were so many of us, there wasn't really a lot of work because it was like anytime they needed something done, it's like there's 5 to 10 people available just a phone call away who all could get there within 30 minutes. And so it's like it didn't really take a long time to do tasks. It was like, oh, we need to clean out the library room. Like, okay, we'll do it like real quick. Like it was like a couple hour thing. So like, but I did notice once I left, I was pretty surprised that I only had 2 friends that visited me on a really regular basis. And when I first moved, I was like, I'm going to see these people all the time. We're still going to stay friends. Like, I originally was just going to get my degree and then come back up to LA. Like, I wasn't really planning on, staying in San Diego, but things didn't really work out the way they were supposed to in any way, shape, or form. But, yeah, I didn't go there. You know, um, I just, I just, yeah, I didn't know that was gonna happen in that way. Like, I kind of thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep the same friends, nothing's gonna change. Like for the first year, I think the first year I moved to San Diego, I was coming up to LA like every weekend because I was still involved in the church stuff, and mostly just because my friends were all there. And in my cohort, I made friends, but like I didn't really make time for them. Like outside of class, I was like, I gotta go. Like Friday night I go, and then Sunday night I come back. And I was almost never making time for my friends in San Diego that I'd made through school. And I remember when my friends from LA would come down to visit, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like let's like explore San Diego." And I didn't even explore San Diego because all I did was like go to school and practicum and work and stuff like that, like get work done and stuff, like and stuff like that. I wasn't really like doing too much. Like I think a little bit like hiking and like like I learned the city a little bit to have like a little stuff to do, but I didn't have a lot of connections. I had some really close friend connections, and so and we're still really close. Like, and I had some really close friend connections of people that like we really kind of like bonded real quick when we first met, and we're still friends all this time later. Even though none of us lives near each other, but we're still in communication and still plan to see one another on a regular basis. And yeah, I noticed once I moved, I didn't see these people. Like I was like pretty surprised and hurt by it too. I was kind of like, man, like my LA friends don't really visit me, like, but I was coming up to LA, but then I was like, I was pretty sure that I was like, okay, well, once I stop coming up to LA every weekend, they're going to come down here and I'm going to see them. And not once did I see, well, no, once I saw one of my friends, down there, the person that I said in the previous episode that I was talking to, I saw this person down there, because they had some business down there. And there was another time, I think, when there was some convention that the church had to do down there. It was like a 3 or 4 day convention, so I saw them then, like for that kind of stuff. But that was kind of business related stuff. They had like stuff to do, and some twice. No, this other person had twice, and then once for this other group. And then they came down there another time and I tried to see them, and this was like years later, and then I couldn't coordinate. And so I don't know. But I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know. Um, I really don't know what it's called, but I do, or if there's a name for it, but I do think I stumbled upon something where I'm like, okay, if you're not close by to people who are used to you being near them, you're probably not going to stay in touch that much. Most people don't stay in touch very good like that. I do, because I will go see people. Like, I've got friends that moved to Vegas and other states and stuff, and like, I plan to see them. Like, if they're not going to come to me, I will come to them. Like, I'm not going to wait around or be like losing relationships with people. But things do sometimes too, like, naturally run their course. And that's kind of the hard part to know. Like, when has something run its course and is naturally just kind of ended? Or when do you keep, like, hey, like, let me keep hitting this person up? And it's kind of hard to know because it's usually not like a direct conversation people are having, like, hey, are we like ending this friendship now, or are we gonna keep trying to connect and catch up or whatever? I think just naturally people fall out of touch sometimes. Your lives move in different directions. I have some friends that I noticed that too, that I'm like, okay, we don't really have anything in common. Like, like, I have friends that hit me up that I'm like, I'm probably never gonna see this person, and I'm like, every now and then I'll hear from them. And I love hearing from them, but it's kind of like, I'm just like, what are we talking about? Like, I don't even know, like, you know. But I do think about my friends often. I don't really know. Um, I don't know. Like, I've had people tell me, I don't know. I don't even want to say it because it's so weird for me to even think about it. It's weird for me to think about it and weird for me to like say it out loud out of my own mouth. But like, I've had friends, not, I don't want to call them like friends, like yeah, friends who are like pastors or like, um, people who like know me on a level that's more than just like we're homies. They kind of know me on like a deeper level, and I've had like bosses, supervisors, and clients as well. But like, people tell me that I have like a gift with people, and I don't know if I do or not. I think I get obnoxious. But I also don't have like, um, I don't really have that thing in my brain that tells me to like stop talking to people. Like, like, I rarely will do that on my own. Like, unless I naturally fall out of touch with somebody. And I'm not saying like in it, like, yeah, I've stopped talking to like toxic people, like, for sure. Like those people that I said that I live with, I don't talk to them anymore. Like, um I don't plan on talking to them ever again. Um I deleted the most problematic one, and then the rest of them, if they contact me, they can contact me, and I just keep it like that just in case it's something urgent. Like, what if they need like a job reference or something? Like, yeah, I do that kind of thing. But like, yeah, um, I'm not. Yeah, I don't really. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if I have a gift or just a tolerance, or I don't know what it is, but I don't really see, like, I wouldn't say that I don't see people's faults, because that's not true. That's not true at all. But I can definitely get past it. I can tell when somebody's faults or patterns of faults are a toxic thing versus like, I get annoyed by this, so I just need to take a step back for like a couple days or week or a couple weeks or something, and it'll be fine. I just need some space, and I can kind of tease those things out, and so I'm able to kind of keep relationships with people usually. So usually it's kind of like weird for me when things start like falling off, because I'm like, well, I didn't do anything. And usually I'm the type of person that if I know I did something, I will suck it up and apologize. Like, I, do not have, I try not to have a very big ego. I think I do have one, unfortunately, but I think most people do. But I try not to have like a very like strong ego in my friendships with people, especially when it's like close trusting relationships. I'm just like, dude, like that can be checked at the door. Like I will swallow my freaking pride. Like I don't really care, you know, but at the same time I do have to like look out for myself. Like I don't really like people just like walking all over me and stuff. But I can kind of see when people are doing that. I can see that really easily when they have that in mind, where they're like, I want to walk all over you. And like I've had bosses like that in the past and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, well, I will let you walk all over me, but I am getting mine at the end of the day. Like I kind of know where I stand with that, and I will welcome it sometimes just because I'm like, well, it keeps me in the city, or you know, it's an experience that's going to lead me, you know, it's part of my professional development, and it's, you know, gonna lead to different career paths. To have all, like, if I think of all the connections I have in San Diego, if I ever needed a job, it would never be hard for me to get a job. Like, I'm not saying it would always be like the best paying job, but if I needed a job like today, I could get hired. Well, it's Saturday, but like if I needed a job on Monday, I know at least 2 places I could go to get hired immediately on the spot. I don't know how many people that have power to get me potentially hired, or at least interviewed. Like, if I wanted to do that, I don't want to go back into that field, but if I wanted to do that, I could totally do it. And to me, that's worth all the other bullshit that I've put up with for a while. Like, it's worth it to me, to have that in my back pocket of just kind of like, I got a backup plan, you know. So, like, if all else fails, I can work full-time with benefits at places that know me and I have a good reputation. And, you know, I can do the work. I know the job. So, you know, I'm like, that buys me a lot of comfort. I can't tell you how much comfort that leaves me, because it's like, well, I've been able to just fool around for like all of 2023 so far. I have not had anything really serious that I've had to do. I mean, I have, but it's like not like the lifestyle I have at this moment compared to like how it was December and before is like nothing like what I'm used to living my life as. Like I'm finally able to do a bunch of stuff that I was never able to do. But that's part of the transition, because I need a freaking break and I don't want to go straight back into stuff. Into work when I'm like burnt out. But I finally feel like I'm ready, and I think, you know, for me, like one of the most valuable things in my life, other than my own self and well-being and my own health, is definitely the people around me and the people I care for, people who care for me. Like, I definitely try to reciprocate that. I don't always know how to reciprocate it, because I wouldn't say I know every single person very well the way that they show that they care, but or need me to show that I care. But I try and recognize like kind of how people prefer to communicate with me. I try to recognize how people prefer to communicate with the people around them, and how people communicate with them, and I pay attention to it. Like, I'm not like, I don't know, like, it's just the stuff, the kind of, it's just stuff that I naturally absorb, just like being around people. I kind of naturally absorb this kind of way that people connect. And so I don't know. I don't know. I'm not perfect at it. I'm not great at it, but I've definitely come to some realizations that there's stuff that I could probably do better that would make other people feel a little more secure with, you know, being in touch and stuff, because it's like nobody wants to be in touch with somebody that they know that they're not going to see much, or that, you know, is like pretty far in distance. And I'm not the most emotionally available person all the time to everybody. Like, there's there's some people in my life that I'm like, we're close friends, but I'm like, there's some people I'm easier to open up to than others, and that's just kind of naturally how I am. I don't know why. Like, there's some people I wish that I could be more open with, but I'm just not that comfortable with it. And it's not that I don't trust them or whatever, it's just kind of like, I kind of maybe know what they think about some certain stuff, and I'm kind of like, well, I kind of know what they think on these things, so I kind of don't really, like, want to be, not in a fake way, like, I'm not, like, faking how I am, but it's like, I don't really bring that, I'm trying not to give an exact example, because I don't want to, but there's certain stuff that I just kind of maybe don't bring up around certain people, because I know how they feel about it, and I don't want them to feel bad, or I don't want me to feel bad talking to them, you know, about, you know, when I'm talking to them about stuff. And it's usually kind of like on a more personal level of stuff. It's not usually just like any old thing. There's certain like deeper level topics that I'm like, I don't really talk about those things with certain people. It could be anything. Like, some people, I don't really talk too much in detail about, like, if I'm kind of like interested in somebody or like into someone. I just might not say it. Like, they might not ever know who I'm like interested in. And then there's other people who, they know everything. Like, to the point that when they see me around the person, they'll be all like giggly in the background because they know what's up. And then, you know, so yeah, there's that. Or like other stuff. Like, there's a lot, like, I don't know, with the background of religion stuff, like, I would say most people kind of know that I was raised with a religious background, upbringing. But I don't think there's a lot of people that I don't really share exactly in detail, like, how ingrained and how, you know, that has shaped a lot of my life and still does shape a lot of my life, even though I am not really particularly involved in this religion or anything. It's still a big driving force in a lot of the decisions that I have to make lately, just because of where I live with my folks, and they are very much a part of this religion. So there's a lot of that kind of saving face kind of mentality about some stuff where I don't believe it and I don't want to live my life that way, but temporarily it's kind of what I'm needing to do just to get myself situated. I haven't quite fully figured out if there's any other thing, and I don't really know if I have some gift at something. I just think I try hard at it and I spend a lot of time and energy. I feel like most people maybe don't have the patience to spend this much time or energy with their social lives. Like, I do. Like, I'm like, this is just how I am. Like, I'm not, and again, I don't feel like it's like a desperation thing. Like, because I'm perfectly fine being by myself in hermit mode for very long lengths of time. But, you know, I really do value having close connections with people. And, you know, I know how to do it. And so I like doing it. Like, it's something I enjoy. I don't have to see and talk to every single person I know every single day, but it's like, you know, I feel like a lot of time, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of time that people spend watching television, a lot of time that people spend doing some other types of things that I don't do, it's like, well, I don't do any of that stuff. Like, I talk to people, like, the whole time, you know, usually when my folks are like maybe watching the news or whatever, or people come home from work and they just like veg out in front of the TV, I'm like catching up with people, like not all day long, but it's like I'm catching up with people. I'm kind of like, getting to know some people that I don't really know too good. And like, I'm not like strategically doing this, but it's like, I've usually got lines of communication open on a regular basis for most people. So it's like a revolving door of just people that are usually just hitting me up. Like if I don't answer my phone all day until like evening, I'll usually have quite a few missed messages from people. There's kind of like the people I hear from regularly, not even every day, but there's people I hear from pretty regularly. And then there's other people that like I hear from a little less regularly. And then there's people that I almost never hear from, but I do kind of like hear from them. But yeah, yeah, that's almost all I have to say, I guess, is that I did develop some kind of understanding about something that I was kind of maybe not doing so well. Um, 'Cause yeah, when you leave, I guess when you leave a city, people don't really want to stay in touch with you anymore. Um, and that wasn't something I was too aware of. Because I'm like, well, I stay in touch with people when I leave a city. Like, I don't really know what the big deal is. But I guess for most people, that's not really something that they do. And that's fine. But it's also, to me, it's a little weird. I can't help to have a hard time understanding it. I have a hard time understanding it. I'm going to be real. I don't understand that too well. But yeah, I don't understand it too good at all. Like, I'm trying to be like open-minded about it and stuff, but I'm like, I don't know. I know it's putting a strain on some of my relationships, and there's especially one relationship. Well, it's like one relationship that involves like four people. It's like four people involved in this one, maybe five people involved in this one thing that's like tied up with this one person that just, I don't know, man. I think I fucked it up by moving, in all honesty. And I know part of me can be like, oh, well, people need to be more secure about stuff, but it's like, I'm not either, so I can't really blame people. But I don't know. That's kind of what I'm realizing. I think it took me till this weekend to finally kind of like come to that realization, and I'm just like, shoot. But it is going to be a driving factor in me trying to get work faster, because like that, I don't want to like fuck with my relationships. That's the whole reason why I'm moving back. Like, I mean, if I didn't have people to move back to, I would move anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter where I live. Like, in all honesty, I love LA. I love LA so much, but just the friend group that I have in San Diego, they're like a form of a family down there. Like, it's not that the people in LA aren't like that either. It's like in a different way, but because the people in LA, I've known a lot of them since I was like a child. Like, so we grew up together, and we have family friends in common and stuff like that. And our parents have friendships with one another. So that relationship is a little bit different. Those relationships are a little bit different, and each one is individual. Like, it's not, I can't really compare like every single, I can't just say like my LA and then my San Diego. That's not really fully true, but overall it's like, that's kind of like the overall picture. Like, and it's not that I don't want to be around the LA people, but it's like they're always going to be there, like they're family friends. Like, we grew up together. Like, even when they move out of state and out of the country, these people come back and they're all tied together by a religion. And it's like people stay in touch and stuff like that. It's like there's some other deeper connection going on with people, because we've known each other for decades at this point. A lot of people that are younger generations, I've known all of them since they were like born. And so it's like I have like, like some of my close friends, like younger siblings, for example, like You know, they've hit me up before when they needed some help with something or whatever. It's kind of like I'm kind of like a little older than them, and like if they need help with something, you know, I'm a person that they can kind of like come to for stuff. Like they're not really like, you know, it's not like important stuff, but it's like, well, it is to them, but it's like it's not like a big deal. But, you know, if they need something, you know, like advice or some kind of direction, yeah, it's not uncommon in those situations for maybe like a younger generation person to kind of like it's from like that religious group to kind of come through and be like try to consult on some kind of situation that they've got going on. And I've done the same with people who are older. Like I've got people who are kind of like an older generation for me, not like my parents' age, but they're like a little younger, you know, like people in their like 40s, close to 50s, you know, that, you know, if I need some advice or something, like I've definitely gone to them for stuff, even very recently, just been like, hit them up and be like, help, you know, and like, they're always, able to lend an ear, and they've always been supportive and helpful. And you know, those types of relationships with people are really hard to come by. It's kind of like a small town vibe, but it's like it's not that easy to like find that kind of thing, especially in LA. And so in a way, it's like as much as I can like shit on like religious stuff and all that kind of thing, like, you know, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, this is what a community looks like. You know, it's like it doesn't even matter if you go to the church or if you interact with them or like whatever, like they're just happy to help, or like I'm just happy to help, you know, and that's just kind of how it is. It's like but it's not, I don't know, like I don't really know. It's yeah, like I don't know. I'm trying to kind of understand better on some stuff, and yeah, I don't really know. Like, I don't have anything like that in San Diego. That's kind of the connections I have in LA. They're not all like that kind of hierarchical, kind of like weird kind of thing. It's not all like that. It's like I do have actual close friends in LA too. But it's kind of different, a little different, because like we grew up together. Like I don't have that many friends in LA that I haven't known most of my life, like since like elementary school and junior high. I have some friends that I met in grad school, and college. But other than that, I mean, that was still like ages ago, you know. Like most of my friends I know in LA, I've known for probably close to like 20 years or something, 15, 20 years. And my relationships in San Diego are a little newer. Like most of the older ones I've known for like 9 years, and then for like I said, I haven't really met that many brand new people, but you know, I did kind of start cultivating this newer thing within the last like 2 years, I want to say, and it's been shockingly nice. And so I don't really know what, I don't know. I won't really know. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm moving back to another place just because, you know, like it's not that, like I could live there without the people that I know, but it's like if I were gonna, if I didn't have any of those people there in San Diego that I want to be closer to in a physical distance as well, I probably would just stay in LA, honestly, because I love LA. I love it. But I do love San Diego too. It totally grew on me. But I think San Diego for me is mostly the relationships I have. It's not so much, it's a little bit of the location. Like the beach is there, the hiking is there, they've got some cool clubs and stuff. But LA is definitely where it's at. Like LA is like I am almost getting sucked in back into the city, like especially since of all the concerts and stuff, and like everything is like so much better, like entertainment wise up here. Sports wise, like it's just a more vibrant city. San Diego's like low key vibrant, like it's chill. I like it. I like that it's got most of the stuff that LA has, but it's smaller. I like that it's close to Mexico. I like that, I like the idea of East County, like it's kind of cool. Um, you know, I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know what else to say. But like, LA is like a different beast. It's like I'm definitely attached to LA. At the end of the day, I still consider myself being from LA. Like I was raised in LA. Like I wasn't born in LA, but I was raised in LA. Like so, you know, am very strongly connected to the city still. It's just at this moment when I'm here, I'm not trying to like stay. Um, and so yeah, things have definitely been put into perspective for me though since living out in LA again. Like temporarily, I'm like I notice all the stuff that I loved about San Diego and all the stuff I missed. And I think I was having such a hard time being back in LA because I was almost like grieving like a lot of the stuff I left behind, and I was like, this is a lot to take on, to be like I gotta move all my shit and do all this stuff and quit this job. Like I left the job where I had good friends, like it was just like, but the friends I have from work, we still are in touch and stuff, but it's just that too, like I can't see them when I want to see them, and like some of them are like, oh, when I'm up there I'll visit you, but it's like, yeah, like we'll see each other like once or twice a year at most. We're not really gonna be like connecting on a very regular basis. So I don't know, and that's important to me. And I don't know if it's like, like I don't know, how Erickson has his theories and all these kind of things about like these different attachment theories and age ranges of different places in life of where you're gonna be at, where you're doing this or you're doing that. Like there's different like life stages, and I'm kind of at the life stage where it's like, it's normal to be like developing relationships with people. And in a way it was a little bit of a mistake. There were some mistakes made along the way, but it's also like I wasn't able to fully think things through. And everybody makes mistakes. Like I could have made worse mistakes, honestly. All the mistakes I've made, I could kind of like compensate for them. Like so, and they were all fixable mistakes. And so I'm kind of like, okay, like it could be worse, like I'm not like in some kind of like bind or anything. Like nothing's worse. Nothing's getting worse. I'll put it that way. Everything, even though things that have happened, some of them I didn't really prefer or weren't really helpful for me, none of it's getting worse. Like it's all improved with time and effort and a whole lot of fucking energy, but it's all improved like more than not, I would say. But yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of going to wait till I start getting like job interviews and stuff, and then I'm going to hit this person up that I've got on my mind and be like, hey, I'm in the stage of interviewing. That means I'll be closer to moving back, but I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't know. Yes, I'm a simp, that's for sure. But I don't know. That kind of thing is important to me. I'm a simp with almost everybody. It doesn't matter. Like I'm kind of like that with most people. If I like you, that's how I am. But yeah, it's, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm gonna have to do for myself, and for my relationships with some people. Otherwise, I don't want things to start like falling apart. Like, I don't know. Like, and I'm not like saying that like our friendship can't like span like 100 miles, but I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, I know that, things could be tighter. Like, I have people like having big life events happening in their lives, and I'm like, I feel like I'm missing. Like, I've missed a couple birthdays, I've missed a couple other things, and I'm just like, damn, like, I've got some friends that are going to be getting married soon. I'm like, I don't want to start missing weddings and all this other stuff. Like, even in LA, I've prioritized myself over some of those bigger events that have happened with those family friends. I've been like, I am doing what I need to do for myself. I'm not going to those events. But if it was someone in San Diego, I would have made the trip all the way down there. It just kind of goes to show kind of like, I'm kind of putting more energy into those relationships for sure. It's not that I don't care about people in LA. Like, it's just that, a lot of the culture that I left behind, which wasn't necessarily a normal LA culture. It was like this whole other thing, this whole other subculture I was a part of, that I left behind. I left it and didn't know that I wasn't maybe gonna come back to it at all. Like, I didn't see myself coming back here like this, and but I'm not regretting it, because I'm like, I saved a lot of money and I made a lot of money, and so I'm like, I just need to make what I need to make. Like, I need consistent income, a lot of it. So, I don't know. This is kind of the goals I'm working on now. Like, it's more relationship goals. I don't know. I see my folks, and they're of an older age, and they're from a generation where it's like you have kids and you have nieces and you have nephews and like people to check in on you and all. Like, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I'm like gonna make all this like gigantic group of friends so that when I get old I'll have people, like, who knows where everyone's gonna be living by that time. But it's a different generation too, and I feel like a lot of us are gonna still depend on our different relationships. Like, I don't see myself being like 90 and not knowing anybody, or like 80 and being like, oh, I stay in the house all day by myself and I'm single and I don't do anything because I don't know anybody. Like, I don't see myself having that in my future. I don't want my future to look like that, I don't want my future to look like I'm sitting by myself all the time with nobody around me. I don't know anybody. I can't hit anybody up because I haven't taken the time and energy to really like form friendships. And even if it's not the same exact friends I have now, even if it's a different combination of people or all different people, maybe even, it's possible that everyone will be different. I mean, I'm not going to force to try to make everybody different. But if it comes to that, I don't see myself ever becoming like not social. And I don't know if I'm gonna get married or whatever. Like, I have no freaking clue. I'm not like actively trying, but it's like I also can't really do that kind of stuff. Like, living here where I live, I can't be like dating and all that. Like, I can't like be meeting a lot of new people too much and like trying to like develop or talk about some other kind of interests. Like, I can't do that here. It's like, even like trying to meet new people is hard. It's like I can't really meet new people because I'm like, well, where am I going to find energy and time and money to be like, developing these relationships locally with all these new people when I'm trying to leave? It's like, nobody wants to like form something with somebody when they know you're leaving. And I mean, I have done that. I am that person that will form relationships with people when I know that they're leaving. But yeah, like, not exclusively, like, but that doesn't really stop me. Like, I'm like, if I'm that doesn't really stop me. If somebody's like, well, I'm leaving in 3 months, like, I don't care. Like, I like you now. Like, I don't really need to like, You know, I'll be brokenhearted about it once you leave, and I'll get over it and I'll move on. Like I'm kind of like I don't really care, you know, like that's just kind of how I am. But yeah, I don't really know. Like I'm still trying to like learn more about this because it's not something that I'm too familiar with. But um, I think I stumbled onto something though. I think I'm right. I think I'm right. I think I'm right. I do. I think I'm right. I think I hit the nail on the head with this one. I think I'm accurate with this. I'm pretty certain that this is what's happening. I'm pretty certain that it's time for me to move back. I've been feeling that for a few weeks now. I need to move before I lose my mind. You know, today I was like, I was kind of venting with a friend of mine, like me and another friend were just talking about like, you know, how it is like trying to date lately and stuff, and I'm just like, man, this sucks. Like it all sucks, man. Like I can't date out here. Like even if I wanted to, I can't. And I'm getting like a little antsy because like Pride Month is coming and it's gonna be June, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I love Pride Month and all summer, and I'm just like, I cannot spend the whole summer here. I can't party all summer and be staying in this house with my parents. Like that's just not gonna happen. Even though half the partying is gonna be in LA, I can't do it. I can't party out here. I can't do what I want to do, and I don't want to waste a whole summer. I don't want to waste the whole summer with my parents again. I did that last summer. I can't do it again. I can't. I can't do it again. I just can't do it again. Even if I have to rent a freaking extended stay for like 3 months or something, at this point, I kind of do not care. I'm like, I will stay in another building. Like, just give me something else. Like, I can't do this right now, you know. But it's not bad. I'm not like at a point where I'm literally out the door, but I'm literally like in my head, I am not here. In my head, I am somewhere else. I just need to get my body to where my head is at. And so that's the problem of my life, man. Get my body where my head is at. But I don't know. It's late. I need to go. I have a third meal I need to be eating. Are they seriously gonna come out here and open the damn door again? Yeah. No. I think someone just went into the bathroom, that's all. I don't even know, man. Well, that might be all I have to say. Because it's like 9 p.m. and I'm past my schedule with a lot of stuff right now. So that. Thanks for listening.